So you're making a move to Huntsville, but you really don't want to be in town per se. Perhaps you want to be a little bit further out, still close to everything, but not too close. Maybe you want to live out in the country. Maybe you want city, but not quite city. So you're okay with maybe a few minute drive, maybe a 30-minute drive, maybe a 20-minute drive. Why don't we just hop on my computer and let's talk briefly about some of the different areas that we have here in Huntsville. We can't cover all of them because of time, but we'll try to answer as many questions as possible and maybe will be a benefit to you. So let's just go and get my computer and let's get this going. Okay, so we're looking at the computer now, and we're going to be kind of focusing in on the interior of the Huntsville Metro. And so we're looking at some of the little areas, little pockets outside the city part of Huntsville, outside downtown, outside of the research park, some of the suburbs that people have moved into, and they've created some tremendous growth in some of these areas. So we're not going to go through each one of these in super in depth. We will on other videos, but on this current video, we're just going to kind of highlight some of these areas. So we'll zoom back in a little bit. So basically, we talk about areas like Tony and Harvest, and a little bit about Mass. Mass is being a city unto itself. It's basically that's a totally another video. But we'll be talking about the Hampton Cove area and McMullen Cove, Brownsboro, Maysville, Ryland, Mount Carmel, Moores Mill, New Market, Meridianville, Hazel Green up here at the top, Tony, Harvest. Some of these areas, all the way down here into Owens Crossroads and even into New Hope a little bit right here. So I've lived in Huntsville now for I think 22 years. And the growth that we're seeing now is fantastic for someone that's been here, and it's always been an amazing city. But now we're starting to really see some individual communities that have been around for a while really start to come into their own. So let's start we're going to look at some different things. So we're talking, if you're talking about pressure points coming into Huntsville, and you're looking at areas like, Tony, even Ardmore up here coming all the way down into the Huntsville area to work. From this side, coming in from Decatur, the Tanner area, Priceville area, Mooresville area, Greenbrier, coming in to Huntsville. You're starting to see a lot of plants pop up, Amazon, Target. There's a lot of businesses out here now in this Greenbrier exit area, but you see a lot of pressure coming down 431. If you're coming in from the Jackson County side, which is Jackson County is over here, talking about Scottsboro, being a huge part of that. We'll have a video about that later. And then, of course, you got 431 coming over the mountain here, and you got 231 coming up from the Arab area. So, as you can kind of see, even this is Highway 72 and a lot of influences. So, you have all this pressure coming in here, and so it's great to kind of have an understanding about which one of these little pockets, or even if you're wanting to live closer to the city center, live closer to downtown, what is there, kind of what is the vibe. So looking at this, I'm going to zoom in a little bit. We're going to talk about just this side over here for a moment. So I lived for about 12 years in this area over here. New Market's a little historic town. It's a great small town feel to it. I mean, it's got an amazing barbecue place. If I zoom in a little more, it should be on the map here. New Market barbecues in here. There it is. It just finally popped up. But that area has now started to grow. So you're looking at this corridor, which is Winchester Road. And so this whole Winchester, and we'll have to zoom out a little bit. So this whole Winchester Road corridor here, we're talking about this road. There's New Market, and coming down through here this way towards town. You're starting to see and have for quite a while now, started to see growth. There's a lot of subdivisions in here. This area of Moore's Mills, there's fields sprinkled in. There's still farms, but there's a lot of people starting to really move in here, and on both sides of Winchester Road, and starting to get in these more rural areas down in here towards Maysville, Ryland, Mount Carmel. Beautiful little community over here. You're starting to see more subdivisions come in. Starting to see a little bit more traffic issues, but otherwise, you're starting to have a lot of people really looking at this. There's some new subdivisions going in the Ryland community, because you're not starting to see growth in here, this Ryland, this Brownsboro area here. So with that being said, as you can see here, there's a Kroger out here. And if you come down further towards the Flint River, there's shopping here. I believe if I zoom in, there's Walmart Supercenter. So right here where Walmart is, if you follow the mouse right here, the cursor, there's now an Aldi's, there's several restaurants, there's a Whataburger, McDonald's, Pizza Hut, several Mexican food places, Italian place, a wing place, Starbucks. Starting to see a lot of that. White Buffalo, several gas stations in here. I remember 20 years ago when I first moved up here that you didn't have any of this, and now over the last 8 to 10 years, and then especially recently over the last 2 to 3 years, you started getting, especially to this side in this area, kind of in here on both sides of the road, you're starting to get a lot of growth. There's a Tenders in there, which is, if you're not from this area and they don't have one of those, that's a restaurant that specializes in chicken. And there we go. So you're starting to get a lot of that. And up and down this, there's some great businesses. There's a variety of barbecue places, American food places, pizza, and then this road, as you can see, I'm gonna zoom out. So this road comes down, and most people, they're going to get over here there it is, to go to work in the morning, come down this road and get to Moore's Mill. Same thing for these people coming down from the top of the map up here. So you're going to have, I lived over in this area right across the river for a number of years. So you're going to come down Winchester Road. I kind of overran it there, but it's okay. You can come down here to hit 72. Then you take 72 down into 565 going into Huntsville. Or you can obviously come across here and take Winchester and take 431 and go down what's what we call the Parkway here. So let me zoom out. Close that out. Zoom out just a little bit. So again, come down Winchester Road. A lot of traffic from all of this area here. It's going to come down Moore's Mill, which is right here. Hit 72 and then come into here. So you kind of have some windows in the morning. I used to come through there about 6:45 most days of the week, and kind of hit a little pocket of traffic. And then later in the morning, about right before 7, you do, and then of course right before 8, you get a lot of pressure coming from people coming out 72, coming in from Gurley, from Brownsboro, and even all the way out into Jackson County, which would be over here on this right-hand side to the east. So you got a lot of people. This is our main corridor. We've seen in the recent years, we've seen road improvements, which have allowed some widening of the road, which is lessens some of the burden. But now you're starting to see a lot of here. And then we'll take and bring that off. Right in this area, we're starting to see a lot of growth. A lot more business coming in, a lot more housing coming in, a lot more brand new apartments on both sides of the road. So it's interesting to see how this continues to mature and continues to grow, and what businesses and how the individual family units and the actual multi-unit apartments and all the different businesses that we do see coming in out there now, how that's going to continue to grow. All right. So with that being said, again, you can come out here and you can find some rural pockets, if you, especially as you come closer to Gurley, which is right out here in this area. So you can start finding pockets of rural county area that if you're looking for land, if you're looking to build outside of a subdivision, there's plenty of area here still for that. I mean, we've not had that kind of growth yet. I mean, there's all kinds of area to the east here that is still relatively affordable, that you can take and find a little patch of land and start a house or whatever you want to do there. So Gurley is it's kind of the furthest reaches. You almost have the county line, and I'm not going to be accurate on this. It's going to be somewhere in here. So you're going to have Jackson County to this side, and you'll have Madison County, which is Huntsville, Madison, all these areas we're talking about to this side. And Gurley is, they've got several gas stations, several fast food restaurants, but then you start to have a lot of upscale building in this McMullen Cove area. This is also what we call Hampton Cove, and you can see there's an area here at Hampton Cove. And we'll get into that in a lot more detail later. But so there's a lot of areas still out here to find, property. Even in these areas, you can still find some property. It might not be quite as cost effective the closer you get to McMullen Cove, closer you get to Hampton Cove. Obviously, everybody's needs, wants, and abilities are different in regard to their funds. So, but some awesome, great areas. This McMullen Cove that bleeds over here into the Hampton Cove, which is Owens Crossroads. You have a lot of construction. You have a lot of single family homes that have really sprung up over the years and still have a tremendous amount of growth. You're starting to have growth pushing towards New Hope. Kind of pushes you down here a little bit further, pushes you out into another county, but staying right here a little bit north. We'll have a video on this whole section later. But so Owens Crossroads, right here at Hampton Cove / Owens Crossroads, you have Walmart. You have, maybe it was showing this map. Let's see. I was a little bit tighter. No, it's not. It's not really popping up as anyway. So on this 431 here, I mean, and this side and both sides of Hampton Cove, you start having grocery stores, and you've got a Lowe's, you've got different various restaurants and some doctor's offices. There's Chick-fil-A in this area, so you've got a lot of life going on there. You got a lot of people starting to move in there. Same thing here. You're starting to see up here what's the Big Cove area. You're starting to see, and especially in these ancillary areas, these little roads, starting to see a lot of people trying to build, and so again, Huntsville's becoming a very vibrant city. There are pockets everywhere where you can still find, open land. You still find farmland, greeneries. Actually, we were just at the greenery a couple weeks ago. My wife loves that place, so it's a staple for us. So coming back in over here again, we can't spend a whole lot of time. This video would be hours and hours and hours. That's why we have other videos. But so then you can cross over on 431. You come in here to the medical district, and you cross the mountain. And of course, you have Bird on the Mountain here at the top, and you have the land trust and all that here. But we're not get into all of that just quite yet, because that is a video into itself. So we're just talking mainly about the exterior areas. We'll zoom out just a little bit. So this southern area here, this is the Parkway. This 231 is the Parkway, and it comes into Huntsville. And that's a fantastic line, I know, but you can't get the gist of it. So you're starting to see up and down this. It's always had businesses, but you're really starting to see new growth in here. Starting to see a lot of homes, a lot of older homes be remodeled. You're starting to see a lot of new construction starting to take place. A lot of people really come to this area because you have Hobbs Island. Of course, you have this body of water here that is obviously great for recreation. I know that we have some other companies that are coming in to bring more recreation to this area. That's the plan at the moment. So you come up the Parkway. You're looking at, depending on how far. I was just showing some houses in this area this week, and I was down here closer to where it says Grand Lake, and it basically took me about, what time of day it was late afternoon. It wasn't quite rush hour, so you're looking at from here to here, good 20-25 minutes. Same thing going back over on this side, Owens Crossroads into the medical district and into Huntsville proper here, depending on how far out you get. So you're probably looking at 22-25 minutes. Being realistic, I'm not talking about GPS or anything right now. I'm just from years of experience of driving this multiple times a week for various things. And of course, up here, this is going to be new market area. It's going to be start pushing really at 30 to get you into here. I know that generally I have family out here that I see a few times a week. So in this Winchester Plaza area, Mount Carmel area, excuse me. So from there into kind of this Huntsville area near Bridge Street and stuff, it usually takes about 24 minutes, depending on how traffic is, to get from here over in here, because again, everything's dependent upon traffic, but that is kind of what we are discussing in this video, is kind of figuring out where things are at. So let's zoom out a little bit. Okay, so with that being said, got some great stuff on this side. We have videos that cover most of this and get really in depth with all those, including actual footage from these places. So right now we're just again, brief overview. So stay with me. So Meridianville, we'll zoom in on. It's up 431. So you come up here, pushing this way, and one of my teammates actually lives in this area. I have family in the Hazel Green area. We were just up here ourselves. My family was looking at some property, potentially for ourselves, or I'm up here with clients all the time anyway, so I've got a very good understanding of this area. Got a lot of growth up here right now. People are pushing out. I mean, you have a lot of great area here, but Huntsville's kind of grown into these suburb areas as people are wanting a little bit of space here. So, in the afternoons, you're pushing up to here, depending on what the traffic's like. I mean, you're from here, anywhere in this area, probably to here is going to probably take you 20-25 minutes, which is going to be kind of the MO here. I mean, there are some pockets on some of these secondary roads that get kind of backed up because they have built so many subdivisions in some of these areas, which is some amazing homes in some of these different enclaves. But at the same time, there are still growing pains. We're still having some roads that need to be adjusted. Some roads are widening. But coming up here in Meridianville, it kind of bleeds over into Hazel Green. Hazel Green has a Walmart. It has pharmacies. Has a great little southern small town feel. That's really growing. Is more and more people are pushing north to find space, and so you have out here there's a lot of fields on both sides of 431 in some of these areas. And of course, you have some beautiful, beautiful places anywhere surrounding this, especially this. Actually, the whole area of Huntsville Metro has some beautiful areas, in my opinion. But right now, we're just talking about these areas up here at the top. There's some beautiful farmland. There's some beautiful, you know, areas that just little pockets that would be fantastic for someone to carve out a location at and call it home. But right now, Hazel Green and Meridianville are showing tremendous growth. You can go up here in between these two and start turning down some of these little roads to right here. Actually, even to the left, you're seeing all kinds of growth, especially since you have the North Huntsville Industrial Park right here. And that you have a lot of plants, you have a lot of growth in here, so you have a lot of people that won't be close to work. And so they're kind of, in this little box right here, a lot of times trying to just come in here to this area. So their commute's going to be a little different than, say, coming all the way down into here. So, but again, this area here showing tremendous growth right now. I think the dad turned out this road to look at some property and was kind of amazed because it'd just been a short amount of time. See actually how much it's grown and how fast some of these houses are getting built. So again, there's opportunity. There's always opportunities in these areas. Currently, come over here to Tony and Harvest. My team just locked up a house here in the Harvest area for a great family that's relocating here. And so we're very excited about that for them. But again, kind of same thing. The MO is the same pretty much for all of this area, because Huntsville, even though it's growing and now it is the state's largest city, or at the time of the recording is, then you're starting to see people. You have this influx of people, and we talked about earlier, Virginia and Colorado and Michigan. We're starting to see a lot of people from these areas that are moving in, and they're looking where to live. They won't be close to stuff, but at the same time, not be quite so in the middle of everything. And then, of course, you have people coming in, and that's why Huntsville's working so diligently to develop a more vibrant downtown option for people. And it's really starting to become that. And that's a video unto itself. Again, all these actually have their own little pockets of different videos that we're doing with each area. So look for those very, very soon. And then let's talk about coming down Tony and Harvest right here. So this little area, even a little bit north in here, all this area in here. You've got a lot of new construction, and some people would say that even Harvest would come over in here close to this part. As you can see, Athens is right here, and you're starting to get a lot of push from people. People are always going to look to try to carve out their spaces, so you're getting a lot of push from people starting to get into Athens. Athens is really starting to grow, and Athens is a beautiful city, and we'll definitely chronicle them later. But, all of this, let me get rid of my little hand there and bring it back. So all this up here, this Tony Harvest area, Capshaw, all of this it's very similar. You've got towns that they've been traditionally small. They've got, post office, families that have been here for a long time, but you're starting to see more and more people come into these areas, starting to see more and more people develop homes, more subdivisions. So was just, like I said, I'm just up in here in this area looking for houses for a client. I'm in here a good bit because I do live very close to this currently, and just seeing the growth here and seeing what is occurring up here is more and more people are starting to, head this way and start coming into these pockets and getting pushed. Madison's right here, and a lot of this is, Madison's growth is also coming right here. So it's still very cost forward. Well, that's the thing about Huntsville in general is, we haven't really got into the cost affordability. Is a lot of these have a variety of these different areas have a variety of different price points. It really doesn't matter if you're in kind of in this Owens Crossroad. There's a variety of different price points. This Ryland area, Mount Carmel, New Market, Moore's Mill. There's all these different options, even up through here in Hazel Green and Meridianville. And you're talking, variety of prices anywhere from, again, what depends on kind of where you're at. And we have more cost breakdowns and stuff later. All right, so we're really not going to get over here into the Madison area that much. That's a separate video to itself. All of this, we kind of encompass this whole Mooresville into Madison to this. We get into Huntsville proper. But again, it's just a brief overview. I mean, there's always things that are left out. There's always different ways to look at it. It's just kind of a way to kind of talk about the different areas. Like it's interesting to me as a person that's been here. I'm native from the state, but it's interesting for a person that's been here to see the growth and the change and see how things are changing here, how things are evolving, which is, I think, fantastic. I do have kids and watching them grow up in a very vibrant city, in a very vibrant area, and see all the different things and all the different things and how they're presented to them. And I think it's just an amazing place to be, an amazing time to be here. So with that being said, I do want to go back for a second because I don't think I've already covered it. This is Highway 53 coming out of Tony into Harvest. But again, it kind of depends. There's some secondary surface roads in this area here that we have. Again, it's like something I'm talking here. You have a little bit of congestion, but these people are pushing into Huntsville this way. Instead of getting on like 53, they'll try to get to 72, and then they'll push into Huntsville. Or they'll try to just do some of these secondary roads and come in. Because you have right here, and again, it's not going to be accurate, but you have the Research Park in here, and you have the Redstone Arsenal, which is a huge structure there, and you have all this area inside of it, right inside this little red circle. So if you're trying to come in from this Tony area into this area, this way, since I've been here, they have widened this. You're starting to have growth up here. You're starting to have in this Harvest area, you have, shopping centers, and you have fast food restaurants. You have restaurants, and very, very small town feels to these places, even though up here into Ardmore, but you're talking about from Tony to here being, depending on what the traffic is, about the middle, and I said the middle, about the middle of the Research Park over here. We'll zoom in just for a second, just kind of talk about that. If you're talking about trying to get from like Tony, Hazel Green, all these places, right now, all these places, and I'm just going to do this top part just because of simplicity for me. And if you're talking about those places trying to get within this circle, so you're talking about, people coming in here, doing this and doing this and doing this, and then coming down 72 and from 565. And this part down here is not going to be quite as accurate, just being very forthcoming about that. And I heard from Brownsboro and then this down here on 431 coming in from our Owens Crossroads, New Hope area, fantastic area there. And then coming in from here, Arab. So you got all this pressure here. Most all these places with inside this can reach this inner circle in about 20 to 20, I'm going to say 5 minutes. Now we're not talking about getting further south, not talking about coming down the parkway. We're talking about getting into this. If you're talking about some of these outlying areas, that's what we're talking about. I mean, obviously you can always argue, we can go from here to here and all this stuff, but if you're talking about coming in, and I'm just going to highlight it just so we can kind of see a little better, from here and this far out, and then right about here, a little bit south of this, which is kind of where Moore's Mill is, Meridianville, Hazel Green might be a little bit of a stretch, Harvest, Tony, uh, out here, Greenbrier area, just be safe. And then you have over here in the Capshaw area to this part of it. Yeah, so I would feel, fairly safe. So, and that's horrible, but there you go. There we go. Cleaned up a little bit. 20, 25 minutes on some of these. Lockable Circle, New Marquee, you'll start hitting the 30. Up, obviously, upper parts of Hazel Green, same. You start getting up here closer to Ardmore, which is only, in grand scheme of things, it's probably not even 20 miles, but with way traffic stuff gets. So you're talking about higher parts of Tony in here, and then some of these pockets in here, and then out here to Mooresville, Priceville area. They might be 30 minutes. So again, just brief overviews, just kind of just talking, making sure that people that are new to the area, maybe people that's maybe investigating and relocating somewhere in town, and kind of really don't have the time to spend, or really don't have the opportunity to go out because they're working all the time, or they have kids, or they have responsibilities that are precluding them from getting out there and actually kind of looking around. That's what we're here for. And so, we're going to keep putting out videos, and we're going to keep making sure that you understand about different components of Huntsville. And as always, if you want to keep up with us, make sure that you're liking the videos and hitting the subscribe button. And as long as you're doing that, we're going to keep putting things out there, and we're always here for it. Our group, the Living in Huntsville, Alabama team, is always here to try to answer all your questions and make sure that you feel heard, or make sure that you have an opportunity to take and get somehow involved in the real estate process, whether it be purchasing land, or purchasing an investment property, or purchasing a home for your family. We're here for you, and so it's fantastic to be with you again today. Thank you. Okay, that's going to do it for me. Again, just a brief overview. But if you're looking for more content, make sure you hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up so that we know what we're doing right. So we're always here for you. If you want to take and book a virtual meeting online with us, there's a link at the top of the page. But always feel free to call us or text us, email us, whatever works best for you. And it doesn't matter if it's in 10 days or 100 days. We're here to see what we can do for you and how we can help you on your journey. But until then, hopefully I'll see you around town.